Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is 6 o'clock. Let's call meeting number 1 to order. I've learned to not get it on this table very hard. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alrighty, roll call, and I'll go from my left and circle around clockwise. Ms. Edler?
Present. I had to think.
Which word to use today?
Yeah, that too.
Mr. Fordyce?
Present.
Ms. Schaefer?
Present.
Mr. Warnke?
Present.
Mr.
Present.
That beat me to it. Alright, number 4, approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Edler?
Aye.
I know. Fordyce?
Aye.
Schaefer?
Aye.
Warnke?
Aye.
Hess?
Aye.
Thanks so much.
That policy before.
I appreciate you. On to number 5, public hearing on proposed property tax levy rate for fiscal year 2027. Can I get a motion second to open the public hearing at 6:01?
Move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Taylor?
Aye.
Fordyce?
Aye.
Schaefer?
Aye.
Warnke?
Aye.
Hess? All ayes. Public hearing is now open. Katie, Deb, before we go on to the telling us about it, did we receive any like written or phone calls as far as any comments for or against or anything about?
I received one phone call, one inquiry that just requesting additional information.
Okay.
But it was published in the paper on March 16th.
Okay. Is there anybody in attendance that had any comments on it before we go into council and admin side of things? Yes, ma'am.
I own 2 houses in Elkhart, and
Who are you, ma'am?
okay, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
But
I'm Joe Pedig.
Okay.
And I live on Adams Street, and I also own a house on your street.
I mean, I knew who you were.
Yes, I know, but anyway, anyway, I moved here about 3 years ago. I love it here. I've sent some of the houses that are for sale to friends and that are looking for places. And the one comment I keep getting back is that their taxes are so high, because they are higher than a lot of the other Polk County places. I left the house in Ankeny when I got divorced, and it was worth $775,000, and my house is worth $340,000, and I'm paying the exact same taxes. So that's kind of, for me, I'm retired, I'm on a fixed income. It's really hard when it keeps going up all the time. And I know the other stuff that keeps going up is nobody's fault here. I just wanted to make that comment. I really would love to see this town not necessarily grow, but just thrive with the people that are here, and people to continue to purchase houses that are for sale, because I think it is a wonderful town. That's really all I want to say.
Thank you.
And thank you for saying. Absolutely. And any other comments? We just opened the welcome. We just opened the public hearing. If you had any comments or questions about the tax levy rate.
Yeah, why is the residential rate going up and the ag rate not staying the same?
So the egg rate is set by the state, so it's unchanged. We don't have any control over the egg rate.
Okay.
And for the record, let me know who you are, please.
Oh yeah, Kevin Slater.
Thanks.
We just moved into town.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for being here.
Mhm.
Ma'am, with your comments about, your experience with taxes from your property that you used to own in Ankeny to the properties that you own now. And I understand the frustration that the house in Ankeny was appraised at a much higher rate than the one in the town. Were you under any type of abatements at all in Ankeny or? Okay. And then, since you've had experience with both recently, how would you compare the services you got in Ankeny for your tax dollars versus the services you're receiving in Elkhart for your tax dollars?
So far, they've been equal, I mean, fine, the only other thing that's higher here is the water, but I know there's the $20 surcharge for the new treatment facility.
That's actually for the.
Yeah, the 20 is for the
lagoons.
The lagoons,
So,
okay.
just to clarify.
yes.
So. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. No other additional public comments or anything, Katie?
Yeah, sure. So just an overview for tonight. So tonight, you guys are holding the first public hearing in the budget process on the proposed property tax levy for fiscal year 2027. So, as stated before, the hearing notice was published in the Register, the Des Moines Register, on March 16th. So the proposed budget for fiscal year 2027 has a city aggregate level levy rate of $12 per $1,000 assessed value. The current budget year has a levy rate of $11.60 per $1,000 of assessed value, and it was that amount of $11.60 for 3 consecutive years. So this is an increase of approximately 3.45%. The city council held 2 budget workshop meetings this year in January and February, where the city tax rate was discussed with options and comparisons provided. So the city's growth is apparent via the property tax valuations that are shown in the levy rate page. The city's taxable valuations for non-debt service have increased about 14%. Because of our growth reaching beyond 6%, our consolidated general fund levy was reduced by 3% pursuant to state law that was put in place with House File 718 a few years ago. This means that our consolidated general fund levy is capped at a max rate of 7.9941. This CGFL max dollars we will receive for the general fund is $515,238, which is an additional $52,613 from this current fiscal year.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last thing?
Yeah, so this current fiscal year, so we are going to take in $515,238. Sorry, I misspoke there.
Okay.
And so that is an additional $52,613 from this current fiscal year. The additional funds will continue to fund city services for our growing community, which are funded by property taxes. With this year's budget, the city has planned conservatively by not budgeting for a 3rd public works employee, which has been discussed at length for several years. Additionally, department heads have submitted minimal requests for equipment, and we continue to seek funding opportunities wherever possible. The debt service levy is increased to provide relief to the enterprise funds for the upcoming year. And so we are utilizing the property tax funding through the debt service levy to pay off our Series 2022A rather than transferring funds from the water, sewer, stormwater, and lost funds to pay off that obligation. The fiscal year 2027 budget was built around this levy in conjunction with the city's financial advisor, PFM. In your packet, there are several comparison sheets provided. One compares Elkhart to cities of similar size across the state. The other compares Elkhart to other communities near the Des Moines Metro. Additionally, you have this page in front of you. This is the mailed notice by the Polk County Auditor's Office. This is required with state legislation that was recently put in place so that each taxpayer receives this in the mail prior to the hearings. So this letter provides a description of all other entities' public hearings that they're holding, such as North Polk School District and Polk County and ourselves. On the notice, you can see the percentage of authority taxes broken down. You can see that North Polk School District makes up about 46%, The city makes up 29% and Polk County makes up 17%. And then the DMAC and other agencies make up 8%. Included in the March 30th packets as well is a link, a tool that the state provides residents that they can use this link to estimate their property taxes for the upcoming fiscal year. And that is what I had. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you for putting all this together again.
Yeah.
I know we had voted in approving doing your projections as high as 12%. Did you do anything between the current 1160, not 12%, $12,000, 100,000? Did you do any calculations between the 1160 and the $12 amount to see the feasibility of?
Yeah, those were provided at the January budget workshop.
And while it was tight, those were still doable, because it wasn't one like at 1185,
Yeah, I think I did 1180.
80.
Mhm.
So. I guess I'm just kind of wondering the council's thoughts on, do we need to go all the way up to 12 or? Because we can still approve 12, but not go all the way up to 12, right?
Correct. This is the max
Max.
rate
Correct.
that you can approve. You can go lower. The budget, was worked around that number. I can,
I know it's tight.
Yeah.
So. Right.
Council, is everybody else thinking at the table?
It's just frustrating. Just always feel frustrated about this.
Imagine how I feel. We just bought a house. And now we see our taxes are going up.
Is the new construction though?
Yes. So I guess my question is, what are those taxes getting us?
So, the main focus of the tax rate is our debt service levy is increasing. And so that is in part to prove our health on our enterprise funds, our water, sewer, stormwater. We need to help start building up reserves, get into a good spot financially so we can take on more infrastructure projects as we grow. Additionally, our community, we are seeing pretty high growth and we need to keep up with the expenses that go along with that. Our new water treatment plant has increased expenses. I've cut as much as I can out of that budget, but
I
it's
know,
also.
I work in a water treatment
Yeah.
plant, so yeah, I know what it costs to operate one.
Mhm. So we are trying our best to spend as minimal as possible, and it is I think they called it a state of the art facility. It's pretty amazing, but there's an expense that comes along with maintaining it, as well as keeping the staff here to maintain it and work in the facility. There's increased, just like with the cost of goods and services. Everything unfortunately is increasing on our end for insurance, workers' comp, liability insurance, a lot of inflationary costs there.
And you'd given direction to Public Works recently to start to research different state contracts available for supplies for running the
Oh,
water
yeah.
treatment plant as well. So I know they're working on that to reduce costs. If there's any state bids that we can piggyback off of, I mean, there's other stuff that was mentioned in that as well, like road salts and sand and things like that. But I know a big part of that was you trying to find ways to cut expenses for the water treatment plant as well.
We're trying to seek any ways we can consolidate,
They
as
did
much
do
as
away with
possible.
the tax abatement on the houses, which they should have done, had started with that would have helped.
And I think you guys wanted to review that again with our commercial and industrial. I don't know if that, yeah.
That's
But,
what I mentioned in the past, yes.
But yes, we are trying, We're working on our interests as well, which has been great, and we're hoping we can set that aside for projects in the future as well. But just trying to be conservative with our positions too.
And actually, this redistribution that Kate was talking about with the fund from our enterprise funds to service the debt levy. And this was before, well, this council was seated here before Katie was here. There was a lot of bouncing around of monies from those different funds to make things at the bottom line look like it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it was smoke and mirrors, but it was.
Close.
It
Pretty
was-
close to it.
There was a cloudy view, I would say, so the fact that we're putting the money more to the debt servicing, I think will be helpful long term. I mean, I probably won't get around to see the benefits of it, but will be helpful long term. And it's going to help the city be able to set future growth in a more organized, systemic manner. Because everything east of Grant wasn't there in 2000. So all that growth took place. The industrial park, what year did that start?
2012-ish.
12-ish. So we've got a lot of new features in town. We've got, some land north of where the streets in now that are still within city limits. That can't really be developed until there's more infrastructure in place, and we can't, quite frankly, afford any more infrastructure right now. So it's either kind of, catch up and pay what we owe now, or just go more in debt in the future. And really aren't in a position to go more in debt.
Our financial advisors told us years ago during a budget meeting that residential growth does not pay for the infrastructure growth. So their big emphasis is on getting as much industrial in town that's tolerable, and as much commercial in town that's is tolerable. And so there are some good developments coming in the next 12 months on both of those fronts as far as new industrial ground. And we have a meeting with a developer here in a couple of weeks as well in terms of kind of what their future plans are for commercials. So the goal is to catch those things up in growth, so that the growth isn't as set back for the residential side, because residential can never pay to keep up with it, especially with property tax legislation coming. Just looking at the charts that Katie had sent out too, is Runnels? Do they have less people than? Probably pretty close, but if I'm looking, so in the metro, there's 24, I believe 24 cities on that. At the proposed tax rate, we would be 11th. But we are the lowest in population out of all of those, other than Runnels, which it sounds like might be really close to us. And you had mentioned earlier that lower population cities tend to have higher tax rates because they don't have the industrial and commercial to offset. So for example, you had mentioned Ankeny was they were last year fiscal year were at 9.9. Elkhart was at 11.6. 11.6 flat. And then going to the comparison of the tax rates from the population 800 through 1300, and this is statewide that she pulled up that fit that category. We are 24th out of 35th. So we're not at the bottom, but we're in the bottom quartile at least, or bottom third, I would say. So for the towns our size, we do still have a pretty low tax rate. And that puts us somewhere in the middle of the metro, even though we appear to be the smallest population center for that. And as Katie mentioned, we've gone 3 years without having to raise this, which was really helpful. So I think we're doing, like Tony had said, we're doing our best to try to balance and pay for the past. There's really no big capital improvement projects that have been undertaken since the water treatment plant opened, and our hope is to keep this as low as possible. Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh yeah, and this is the last sheet that you had sent out. If you wanted, you had given some examples of the
Yeah,
different
so
tax
I
rates.
just used the median assessed value of residential, commercial, and industrial, and put the breakdown of the tax bills that would be forecasted for that amount for our tax rate, the county's tax rate, and then also the school district's tax rate. So they're broken down by color. But those are using the median assessed value, and if they want to look at their exact value of their property, there is that tool via that link that they can use.
So under the 11.6, so fiscal year 24 example was the house would be 1274.20 in 2024. Fiscal year 25, that same property would have been 1372, so a little less than $100. In fiscal year 26, it would have been 1419, which was an increase of about $50. And from fiscal year 26 to 27, it will be an increase of about 130-ish. I could get a calculator, 137 dollars per year divided over 12 months.
So,
Taxes paid in 6 months chunks, but you get the time.
in the rollback percentages, that is the set.
The state determines that each year.
No, but that is the number, correct?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
That-
Yeah, cause you
that's
can
not
see it
That's not
changes.
projected, that's.
That's why,
Okay.
yeah, that's why it changes the percentages so much. I don't know where that's gonna go.
We never do.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the median income increased increased over $90,000 in that 3-year span.
The median income?
Median assessed value.
Oh, yep.
Oh, it's going.
The assessed values, I think the last round of them, people were pretty shocked by yeah.
That's a good word to use.
It's not
Yeah.
the ballpark.
I think the last round they went up like about 20% in
It's-
Polk County, so.
They can never go up again, because then none of our houses it's all just pretend at that point.
Yeah.
If it goes up another 20% next year, none of these houses will be worth anything, because they'll be worth too much. It's weird, but anyways.
Well, that's what I don't understand, sorry, I'm kind of ranty tonight, so I'll try to keep myself a little bit in check, but I don't understand how the state expects us to figure this out between jacking up the assessments and putting the cap on what we can pull. The governor herself was like, well, they'll just have to cut some services, they'll figure it out. We don't have services to cut, we don't have things to cut. And so, yeah, we diligently for the last 3 years didn't change it, because we don't wanna change it. I can't afford to change it, like, I don't wanna change it. I don't know what else to do. I don't know what other bucket to pull from. I can't time machine it back and take the abatements away that were put in place before I got here, like. There's only so many options here. I don't know what else to do. Like, I get that people are frustrated. I'm frustrated. I don't wanna change them either. I was really proud of us, so we haven't had to raise them. Like, that's something that we can hang our hat on for a while, but we're screwed right now. Like, we don't have a choice. And
Yeah.
I would have loved for the state to have cared a little bit more when you guys were lobbying with them and having conversations with them and being like, you know, this is really gonna hurt small towns. We can't function this way. And they just blew us all off. And so now here we sit and I don't know what else to do. And again, if we approve 12, we don't have to go to
Is
12.
that you? Oh, that's something like this.
Yeah, that's not thunder.
If we approve 12, we don't have to go to 12, but it gives us the option to figure out what does make sense. I appreciate the graphs. The graphs show me that despite everybody's frustration and belief that we're just the worst and overly taxing everybody, that we are doing our best with what we have and we're not the worst. It does make people feel better, and then you can't make them look at graphs and you can't help them see. And I don't want people priced out of their houses, and I don't want people not buying houses because the taxes are high, but we also have to afford infrastructure and we have to figure these things out. And it just, I don't know what other options there are. So there you go. Sorry, I'm ranty and I'm cranky, but
Yeah, I think Katie gave a pretty good list of all
Yeah.
the ways that the city hall's been working to increase revenues last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago, at the council meeting? Feels like it was only a week ago. But yeah, she mentioned the city taking up 29% of that pie, the school district is 46%, and then the county and DMAC, and yeah, I feel like we're doing a pretty damn good job, but that's why we continue to review these things and look for alternative revenue sources.
The frustrations are shared, they don't fall on deaf ears. One thing that sounds rude to say, and I don't mean it like that, we pay them as well, being that we live here in town, and we do it as well. We don't have some magic, all of our expenses are paid and covered. So
Don't let him kid you.
that's sweet.
If it's a perk, I haven't signed up for, Mr. Adams. Somebody forgot to give me that paperwork. If you got it, you let me know. But, no, so the frustration is shared, and I don't think that we don't care, and we hear what you're saying, and it's to echo everything that everybody said. That's why I deferred. I wanted to hear what Katie had to say and what the council had to say, but figuratively speaking, we got to keep the lights on, and you know, at least we have LED lights now, so that costs less, you know, as far as the overall electric bill, but. I think.
Which were paid for by federal
Hey.
money that didn't have to come out of the city budget.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, at least we got that going for us, so, but.
Right on.
Is there anything else that we need at this time, or are we,
Nope, there's no action.
Correct,
I would
yeah.
just ask for a consensus of moving forward because the budget adoption takes place on April 20th.
yes.
Our next meeting is,
April 20th.
oh, okay.
Nice.
Well, no, when do we have that to the state, I guess?
April 30th.
Third, okay. So, when you said the 20th, I was thinking that was the state date, but I thought that's sooner than I
No.
thought. So I just put it in there.
Well, council, just, no particular order, where's everybody's thoughts at, based off of what we've heard from citizen input, what we see on paper, as far as where you guys at with it. Concise, that we have the next meeting to do as well, so.
Like I said, I'm okay doing the calculations at 12. I just want to make sure we sharpen the pencil as sharp as we can and see if we can, I mean, I'm not trying to be King Solomon it, but I'd like to get it as close to 1180 as possible if we could. You know, and that way if we have to do 1180 this fiscal year, and then 12 the next fiscal year, it's not 12 both years.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just my thoughts on that stuff.
Is it as simple as going back to your spreadsheet and changing the 12 to an 11.0? Does it refigure everything or do you go back through it?
Carrie
again?
would redo the transfers because we would be transferring money out of water and sewer, most likely because
To pay the deficits,
the loan,
the loan.
that loan that we would pay with the debt service.
Gotcha.
So
So that could make the water rates go up if we change the more, go up more. If we change,
not necessarily,
okay.
but I can speak with her and
Well, the monies that we're planning, if it's at 12, maybe this is a false assumption on my part, because I thought a lot of that increase was just going straight to the debt servicing.
Yeah.
levy. So if we did 1180, we would just not send as much money
Correct.
to the debt servicing. But will we be able to meet our minimum required debt servicing? Is that a question you asked?
you mean the threshold on the water and sewer?
No, just for the debt service levy. So, are we talking two different things?
Nope,
Same thing?
nope, go
Okay.
ahead.
So whatever monies that we would take under the $12 assessment level, if we reduce it to 1180, the amount that there'd be a smaller amount going to the debt servicing. Would that amount make us compliant with any legal regulations or banking necessities?
I can
I'm not
check.
thinking about it, So,
I can check, I can redo the numbers.
I mean,
and see.
it would slow down the rate at which we pay it down, I understand that, but if we're able to maintain it, and we're not doing negative amortization on it, or anything like that. I mean, that's one possibility, I guess, Rob.
Okay.
So,
And I'm gonna throw out a broadcast, like hypothetical question, is what is the, since you're very broad, what is the smart play long-term as well? I mean, nobody wants them to go up as high as they are, but what is to make sure that we manage everything and get ahead and unfortunately have to play catch up with doing so, like, what is the smart play long-term, so we don't have to have a jump like this again in the future? Yeah, it's unfortunate now, but if we did the 12, where does that set us up for the next year and the next year and 5 and 10 years down the road? That's something to consider as well. Again, I don't want it to go up anyway. I pay him as well. But what's the smart play? So,
So your fire, or I think it's smart to go to 12. Because we're a small, growing rural community, we haven't raised it for 3 years. And I do think, compared to other communities our size, in a position like us, we are low, but I can certainly try and rework the numbers at a lower rate if you'd like.
So your recommendation would be to go with the 12 for now, then based on that, okay? I mean, you're the one that's knee deep in it every single day, and has looked at it in different angles, and I'd be in line with that recommendation based off of what you're saying, because maybe that would prevent us from having to raise it too much again next year.
Right.
But it sounds like it, based on what I've seen over the 6 years doing this and the 3 years that we didn't raise it, is it sounds like small incremental raises each year would probably be smarter than trying to keep it the same for longer periods of time next time. And if it's a little bit of a bigger chunk this year, then it could be smaller chunks and you know, depending on how legislation goes, of course, in the next couple of years. I'd be comfortable with the 12 if that's what you're suggesting, and that's what our advisors are suggesting.
How the county values the property.
Oh, dude, it's.
That is
yeah.
a huge factor in it too.
Yeah.
Because we have no control over this, the valuations.
This might be too far in the weeds, but when you're calculating out what we're gonna get for property tax, does that include, you know, the deductions people get for like homestead exemptions, military exemptions?
So that's very hard to forecast, and I asked them at the county
Yeah.
if they could provide me any estimate, and not really.
Not really.
So, the exemptions are in there,
Okay, that's,
yeah.
I don't need the weeds.
Okay. Angie, do you have anything to add?
For Travis.
I would like to
Or
see.
Travis?
I'm still here. I'm not gonna beat the horse to death. I think we've all said it. We're all frustrated at this situation that I'm sure the state's in. I think moving to 12 is the smart play in the long run to do. Take out bigger chunk this year, then smaller incremental chunks in the future. It's gonna suck, but everything that sucks.
The impact, looking back over it, was $10 to $13 a month, and not to downplay $10 to $13 a month per household for the median price, but we're not talking hundreds of dollars a month, which is the big point, so we don't ever want it to get to that point.
I think we're in a consensus.
Yeah.
I believe so. I just want to make sure everybody had an opportunity to comment or what have you, so.
We're not happy about it, but we're in a
Yeah.
consensus.
Correct.
Our consensus is will not happen.
As long as we all agree.
So we all know what happened.
Very good then. Then at 6:32, motion second to close the public hearing.
Make motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Can you give the second to Warnke? Only because I was looking at him when he said it. Edler?
Aye.
Fordice?
Aye.
Schaefer?
Aye.
Warnke?
Aye.
Hess? Aye. Public hearing now closed, 6:32, and with that, we move on to number 6, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Edler?
Aye.
Fordice?
Aye.
Schaefer?
Aye.
Warnke?
Aye.
Hess? And how long of a break do we need?
We don't need a break.
Okay,
Oh,
I couldn't
okay.
recall if we
No,
needed to have a
actually,
break or
no.
not.
Let's do a
Minutes
break,
before.
yeah. Let's just do a break because just for it's a new law with the state of
Okay.
having the 2 separate meetings. So let's just do 10 minutes.
7-minute break,
Yeah.
okay, we will reconvene for the new meeting too at 6:43, we are adjourned.